Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Arrow Season 6, and this is going to be my review for episode 12 of this season, otherwise entitled All for Nothing. So obviously before we get into the rest of this video or review, there will be spoilers for this episode because we're going to be jumping into the major talking points of this episode, and a decent amount of things happen that some of you might have caught on to and some things that were just like blatantly obvious. So yeah, we're going to be going over most of those, if not all of them. So if you've not watched the episode, go do that, then come back to this video later on. But if you have watched the episode and you are continuing on, be sure to leave a like on the video to show your support. Let me know in the comments section down below what was your favourite part of the episode, what was something that you were a bit, not too sure on, that you might not have liked too much. Just let me know all of your opinions in the comments section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and yeah, let's go on. So last episode, I did say that really nothing happened. It was a big filler episode. It almost felt like half an episode and they were setting up a lot of things, which, yeah, I guess some of it, if not most of it, happened in this episode. So last episode was basically a really weird one and Felicity was the MVP. So you can tell that that was a weird episode, at least for me. So yeah, really not too much to talk about from last week. But going into this episode, we started off with a pretty shocking beginning. It was pretty shocking, pretty electrifying. Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening, with our divers becoming fried fish, or fried divers, or diving dip. I don't know what you'd call it, but they got fried, electrocuted. And I just like reminded you of like different movies and stuff where they'd shock the river and all the fish would come up. Instead we had divers from Argus coming up, so yeah. So you could tell it's been a week since the end of last episode because Oliver has now transferred $70 million into that Caden James account. So I thought 10 million was enough for Star City, but we're up to $70 million, sorry, might I say. And yeah, they're definitely struggling to get the funds to keep that rolling along. So, you know, I'm surprised, like what have they been doing like during that week? You know, that's an issue I sometimes have with these shows. They try to skip a week to like match the dates. And you're just like, well, can we get like a recap of what was happening in that week? Did you just sit around and not do anything? But yeah, so it's been a week since our last episode, and Star City is down to its last couple of pennies. But the big, like the two big characters for this episode, you didn't really actually tell, you couldn't really get it from the trailer at least. Like there was hints to it, but you didn't think it'd be like that big of like a portion of the episode. It was between Dinah and Vincent, or Vigilante. So we got flashbacks between them, and I did discuss this, like, it might have been like when Vigilante was revealed in episode 5, I think it was. It was like, okay, well, we're going to get like some backstory as to what they were doing, either before this or directly after that. Like, where did Vincent go after he was, became the Medihuman? Because we knew that they buried the casket, but now there's like no body in it, I think they said back in episode 5 or 6 or something. So I was wondering if we were going to get like a follow-on from that, but we never got that, which was a bit disappointing. But what we got instead was the before of the incident before the particle accelerator. So how Vincent and Dinah met each other when they were undercover and stuff, and what led to them being found out and eventually getting into that situation that we've seen a couple of times in that flashback to the night of the particle accelerator incident. One thing I did like though was the parallels between the two characters with the flashbacks and the present day. So in the flashbacks, we had Dinah Drake, or Tina Boland at that stage, her undercover name, being caught out for, you know, being an undercover cop. And then we had the present day where Vincent was being caught out for being like a traitor to the Cabal or Caden James's group. So I like the parallels that they used there. Thought that was great. Now one thing, it might sound a bit messed up that I'm saying this, but one thing I was actually sort of disappointed that we didn't see. We heard some of it, we didn't see any of it though, was the torture scene between, you know, Anatoly doing the torturing on Vincent. I was like, show it. Like, don't just tease us, show it. You got the later time slot Arrow. Surely you can show us Anatoly doing some dirty stuff. Come on, show it. Don't just, you know, don't tease it, don't give us some sound bites. Actually show us Vigilante getting cut up or whatever Anatoly was doing to him. I was a bit disappointed by that. I was like, come on. Give it to me. I want to see some torture. Haven't seen it for a while. I haven't watched a Saw movie or a Hostel movie in a while. I need some torture on Arrow that's a bit, you know, calmed down. So I was a bit disappointed we didn't get any of that. Another storyline that was going on in this episode, and will obviously continue as we move further, and it could come to a head next episode going by the promo. I did see the promo for next episode, but we'll talk about that in my next video, obviously. But that's between Quentin and Black Siren, or Earth 2 Laurel Lance, and their story. So Quentin does see like a shimmer of hope, or a bit of hope in this Earth 2 Laurel, that she could redeem herself and become like his Laurel, like Earth 1 Laurel, or at least get, you know, move towards that standard. And that scene when in that room and Quentin brings up the photographs and stuff because, you know, this Black Siren's been following Quentin and stuff and he knows it, and he finally gets her in a situation where he can show her his like view on Earth 1 Laurel. I thought that was a really great scene, showing some of her stuff in the Black Canary suit when she was Black Canary, saving people and being that hero that obviously he wants Black Siren to be. There was also a scene, like a bit, where it's when just before Black Siren, like, you know, screams and destroys the projector and stuff, you see a picture of Laurel as Black Canary go over Black Siren's face. It's really quick. If you do not see it, you can go back and watch the episode, you will see it. So I thought that was great. If anyone saw it, hopefully you would have known that was a really great like bit in that scene where they have like Earth 1 Laurel's face with the Black Canary mask and stuff go over Black Siren's face, and it looks like, you know, that she is, you know, trying to be Earth 1 Laurel. So I thought that was a great scene, and I'm very interested to see how that storyline progresses. And you may as well say it, hopefully Black Siren doesn't die next episode. I think it would be very anticlimactic if they build up all this Quentin and Black Siren stuff, and they lead to maybe, you know, Black Canary or Dinah Drake killing Black Siren next episode. It'd be very disappointing if that was to happen. Now, one part that made me roll my eyes in this episode, because I thought this episode was pretty decent overall. I thought it was a pretty good, if not great, episode of Arrow. I actually really enjoyed it. But one part of the episode that made me go, come on, guys. Like, it doesn't, like, that's what, like, 3-year-old thinking there. Like, anyone with half a brain would realise that that's terrible logic. And that's when, I think it was Oliver and Diggle. I'm not sure if Felicity agreed with it, but I know it was between Oliver and Diggle agreed on it, that they should just leave Vincent because he can heal, so it doesn't matter how much they torture him. And I was like, you learn this in like year, I might have been like 13 or 14 when you learn about pain threshold and how much someone can take before they go into shock, which can lead to like heart attacks and different issues with your body, which can easily lead to death. And I was like, yeah, he can heal, but if they constantly keep torturing him really quickly and he's feeling that pain, they hit him in very pain sensitive areas, he's easily going to go into shock and he would die. Like, it was terrible logic behind Team Arrow there. I don't know if anyone else thought of that. But yeah, that point just made me roll my eyes and I was like, come on, like, think, Diggle, you're in the army, come on. Or was he in the army? Like, well, some form of militaristic forces. But obviously the big part of the episode was the Vigilante death. Now, this had been leaked. I didn't read the whole post. People just told me that, unfortunately, you know, the situation I'm in, you know, with this channel, and I have Twitter, people tweeted at me and I was like, okay, I didn't want to know it, but I opened up my Twitter and I just read the first few lines and it sort of got spoiled in those first few lines. But Vigilante is killed via a Black Siren scream or sonic scream through the ears, which basically just like melted his insides, I guess, from the brain, and his healing ability, because his healing ability isn't just like, oh, it's like Deadpool or something, he can get his head cut off or arm cut off and it just grows back or something. It's limited, so it's probably like Wolverine-esque and stuff like that. So it's not like the most advanced healing factor, it's like a limited healing factor. So he gets a cut, it heals, stuff like that. So he can't get ridiculous things done to him. Like, if his head got chopped off, he'd probably die. That's probably the best way to put it. So Black Siren kills him. I had this spoiled, so as soon as I saw the scene starting to happen, I was like, okay, well, he's going to die. But yeah, if anyone else did not know that was happening, I'm sure this would have been a great scene, but unfortunately people spoiled it for me, which is a bit disappointing. But overall, this was a pretty brutal scene in regards to the way that he died and just the way that Black Siren didn't want to do it. It's not like she was like, yes, I get to kill this dude. She didn't want to do it, but she's obviously under Caden James's thumb, or at least she's pretending to, well, she's obviously pretending to be that way for a reason. Now, I wonder if we're going to find out next episode what that reason is, especially if, you know, Dinah confronts her and stuff like that. Hopefully that is, because that next episode could be a big step forward for her storyline, both Dinah as well as Black Siren, just due to their confrontation. Because in the promo you can see them coming together, so that could be a big stepping stone for Black Siren's you know, storyline for this season, what happens going forward, and maybe her reasoning behind sticking with Caden James for so long. But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But we do find out that the same person who fixed all of that footage of like Caden's son being killed, because they got all that information in this episode from Vincent or Vigilante getting into Caden's system, was the same person who doctored or fixed that image we saw at the end of episode 1 that played out through episode 2 and basically most of this first half of the season, because of that image of Oliver in the Green Arrow suit, which got proven to be fake. Now, we know that it's someone that's close to Caden, so there's another traitor. So who is it? Well, let's get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because let's hope it's Richard Dragon, aka Ricardo Diaz, aka the Dragon. Let's hope he is the one that has planned this all. He was the one that set it up to make it look like Oliver had done all this stuff, which would lead to Caden James going after him, which would lead to Richard Dragon teaming up with Caden James, which would let him sort of ride along for a bit, understand certain things, maybe grow his own army or take some of Caden James's forces, and then take Caden out at the right time so he can propel himself forward and have a bit of an easier time going about what he wants to do. So I'm hoping next episode is the episode where Richard Dragon comes out and goes, hello, breathing fire at you. Caden James dies. There's a big black siren story pushed forward. Whatever happens with Dinah Drake as well in that episode. I wonder if she's going to have that one episode where she goes a bit mental and a bit murderous, or if that's going to carry on for a couple of episodes, who knows. But next episode should be a pretty big one, and I'm very, very excited because, as you would all know, I've wanted Richard Dragon to be the big bad. When he was announced for this season, I thought he would be the big bad. Then Caden James came out, I was like, okay, well, they'll probably use him because they got Michael Emerson, who's a big actor. But you could tell throughout this season that Michael Emerson or Caden James was never going to be the big bad for the whole season because his story progressed really, really fast. And I have a feeling the next episode, episode 13, it's all going to come to a head. It's the end of Caden James as a character, and Richard Dragon is the big boy. Now, the big boy, and, you know, he might team up with Anatoly Knyzev. I don't think Anatoly should die. If he did, I guess it wouldn't have too much of an effect because really you wouldn't say he needs to be in this season. But I still don't want to see him die because I do like Anatoly as a character. But let's hope next episode, Richard Dragon, it's his episode where he comes out and shines and takes over as the big bad for this season. But as I said, I really, really enjoyed this episode. The only part of the episode that made me roll my eyes and go, wow, was that logic behind letting Vincent or Vigilante continue to be tortured. I was like, come on, pain threshold guys, logic. But yeah, apart from that, I think this episode really pushed some other storylines forward and introduced some new interesting aspects to certain characters and the struggles they're going to have going forward as well. And I really have nothing to fault from this episode. Some of you guys might be able to point some stuff out in the comments that maybe I just missed out on, I just wasn't paying attention to, that you found a bit annoying and maybe not relevant. But overall, I thought the episode was great, and I can't wait for next week's episode because we have Arrow next week, but the week after there's a break. So it wouldn't surprise me because we have a break after next week's episode. The next episode is a big one with a big cliffhanger. Let's bring on Richard Dragon. He needs to be the villain. I'm going to look like such an idiot if he doesn't end up being the villain and he dies next episode. Imagine if that happens. I think I would delete my channel. I won't delete my channel, but I'll do something stupid. I'll shave my head or something. I don't know. Actually, forget that. I'm not shaving my head. I've done that once and I hated it. So anyway, forget I said that. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like in the video to show your support. Let me know in the comments section down below what was your favorite part of the episode. Do you agree with my thoughts, or do you have different opinions on what I said and stuff like that? Just leave it all down in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.